Hello, everybody. It's Eric here from Love of the North. Don't forget to subscribe and share and let everyone know about what's going on in your own backyard here in the North. And of course, the website is lovethenorth.ca. So wherever you're seeing us, subscribe and share. Today, we're going to be talking about Stop the Spray Ontario. It's an organization that's been started a number of years ago, and we have Maureen here via Zoom to talk to us a little bit more about it. So, Maureen, introduce yourself and the organization.
Hi, it's Maureen Hutchison Parker. I'm with Stop the Spray Ontario and Stop the Spray Canada. And I've been fighting the spray for about 5 years now. I only found out about chemical forestry when I was 60 years old, so 5 years ago. But it's been going on for approximately 70 years in Canada, coast to coast. It's one of Canada's longest environmental fights.
So, what does the spray actually do? Where do they put it? And what's it for?
Well, when the lumber companies clear cut the forests, when everything grows back, the shrubs, the berries, the poplar, aspen, all the natural regeneration, the lumber corporations, they just say, no, not that forest. And they just spray weed killer, glyphosate, any herbicide over it all, kill it all, because they only want coniferous trees to grow. They only plant coniferous trees, softwoods that grow fast so that they can go in later and clear cut it again.
So does this mean when you have everyone who's planting trees on the summer programs are only planting conifers?
Coniferous trees, that's right. They only plant coniferous trees. They want their trees to grow fast, and they just kill anything that will compete with the coniferous trees.
So you said they're spraying glyphosate. Some of us might know glyphosate. I relate that to Monsanto. Is that the same thing, or
Oh,
is
yeah.
Monsanto the
Same.
brand name?
That's yeah. Monsanto owned the company that first that first start like had the glyphosate, and then Bayer bought it. So now it's Bayer that has the glyphosate. but but in the first years, it wasn't glyphosate. It started out with Agent Orange components. They were actually spraying these over the forests. And we even on our website, Stop the Spray Canada.ca, we even have stories from the people that worked in the Agent Orange era. So anyway, that was eventually banned. It was due to a dioxin contamination as well. But then they switched to glyphosate in the early 80s, and they've been spraying glyphosate since then. But there's still different ones, different herbicides. The herbicides change, the chemicals change, but the spraying continues.
So where are they spraying? And what effect does it have on the forest, such as the wildlife?
Well, that's the problem. It is poison, and it is going into the waterways. The animals, they're eating it. When they spray the poison, they put up warning signs for the people telling you not to walk on, telling them that, the pesticide's been sprayed. But we've always said animals, birds, pollinators, they don't read the signs, and they are getting sprayed, and it is wiping out all the vegetation that they rely on. When they mass spray the clear cuts, they create a dead forest. It's dead. There's nothing there. There's nothing alive. They're creating dead forests. Um, everybody's been saying we have to protect the bees. Even in Ottawa on Parliament Hill, there's a big sign saying, the bees, pesticide use is affecting them, and they have, bee colonies. And you just say, well, then, if we're all supposed to be protecting the bees and the environment and the water, why in the world are they mass spraying glyphosate or any chemical herbicide. It's weed killer over our forests. And of course, like everything that's eating this, they say you talk to a trapper, the hunters, they say the poison is going right through the food chain. But of course, the people defending the spray, they don't want to talk about that. They just want to keep spraying the forest because it's cost effective. And that's all they talk about, is that it's a cost effective way to manage the forest. They call it forest management. We call it, well, it's ecocide. You are killing everything. And and then what happened was in 1999, the federal government, the Senate, they did a 2-year study on the boreal forest and what was happening to it. They said that all chemical herbicide and pesticide use should be phased out of the boreal forest as soon as possible. That was in 1999. They had a whole chapter on Aboriginal realities. The 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 study was called "Competing Realities: The Boreal Forest at Risk," and they had a whole chapter called Aboriginal Realities. And they said that we have to respect their rights, their their territories. They're they are the ones that hunt and fish and forage in these forests. And it's not just them, it's all of our wildlife. Everybody needs those berries. Nobody wants to be eating poison. And then when they're wiping it out and just planting coniferous trees, there is not the natural forest that feeds the birds and the animals and everything that relies on the forest. It's going into the waterways, it's affecting the fish. The Ministry of Natural Resources will tell anglers not to use, it's against, they'll get fined if they use a salamander as bait. But meanwhile, they will spray poison from helicopters over salamanders, over ecosystems, over everything. What happens to a butterfly's wings when it is sprayed with glyphosate? And the Ministry of Natural Resources tells us to plant milkweed to help the endangered monarch butterfly. Well, oh, I guess it's our job to protect the forest and not theirs. And so they just keep spraying. But in 2001, Quebec, they listened to their people. Quebecers, they gained their protection from the spraying when Quebec stopped issuing spraying licenses in forestry. And industry had no say, they had to adapt. And so they did. And that was in 2001. So all the other provinces, they just kept on spraying. Because another thing that happened was in 2000, the, the glyphosate safety study that was now considered to be ghost written by Monsanto, that came out in 2000. So the regulator, Health Canada, they've just been saying glyphosate poses no unacceptable risks. And they have cited this study again and again. And it was cited again when Health Canada re registered glyphosate in 2017 for another 15 years. Safe Food, Safe Food Matters, Mary McDonald, she sued Health Canada for this re registration, and they're still in court. Nothing is settled.
Yeah. In court, it's easy to drag stuff out.
Yeah,
It's
that's
just
what they're doing, dragging and dragging. Safe Food Matters did won when in 2022, Health Canada tried to just approve Mad Dog Plus, a glyphosate herbicide, And Safe Food Matters took them to court along with Eco Justice and allies, and they lost in court. The court said that Health Canada, like they did not review the new studies because glyphosate, the studies are coming out. I mean, everybody knows it. Well, I mean, it's well, what happened was, I mean, everybody's just doing the studies after studies after studies, and it's making people sick. And the court cases are paying out billions, and for it's called failure to warn, right? For all these cancer people, it's gone on for so long, and but then um, finally in December 2025, that safety study was officially retracted. And then Health Canada, they just kind of went, we didn't rely on that study. So they're not doing anything about it. And it's quite incredible to have that happen. So now come last March, there was the International Glyphosate Symposium in Seattle, where international scientists from around the world, they all agreed that the harms that glyphosate's causing, it's beyond cancer. It's endocrine. It's everything. It's I don't even have the list of all the things that happen to people when they're exposed. It's chemical exposure. And in the forest, the people that have relied on this forest, they have been chemically exposed now for 70 years, and it's cumulative. And we can't just keep thinking that cost effective, that it's for the bottom line, that like who is paying for it?
Yeah, someone's obviously, there's profit. It sounds like there's profit being made somewhere.
Oh,
For all the conspiracy theorists that are out there, I often hear about chemtrails way up in the sky.
and
Now,
we
how is it? How is the glyphosate? How is it sprayed?
It's by helicopter, and it's low to the ground.
Okay.
um, a lot of people will see this and think I'm talking chemtrails and conspiracy theory. Even when I went to the sportsman show, because we've been trying to raise awareness to this now for decades, because you know the 94% of the people in Ontario live in southern Ontario, and they are not close to the forests. So the mass majority of people in Ontario do not know that this is happening in the forests. And I didn't even know until just 5 years ago. And it's been going on longer than my whole life. But anyway, so we've been raising awareness. We've got 4 years of billboards. There's at least 45 billboards that have been put up, and the tech elders, they have their own billboard campaign. We've just tried to get Ontarians to understand the problem. It has been on the news, but it's just not enough. And so, anyway, another big thing we've done is go to sportsman shows, because, of course, the sportsman show in Toronto, the people that fish and hunt, they should know what is happening in their forests. They should know that, because the moose, the deer, they're all getting exposed to this as well. And I was standing. It's hard though, because the people look at you just sideways. They don't understand it, and it was really hard to explain to people. And and uh, I was trying to tell someone, I'm just trying to protect the forest. And one fellow, he just went, "Stop, talk to my wife. She's the one that wears the tinfoil hat."
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. See, I think it sounds like it's an awareness challenge in order to get people to come to terms with the reality of what is actually happening. There's a chopper in the air distributing the product onto the forest. And you said anything it touches that it comes into contact gets affected. And then of course it it just goes on and on.
That's right. I mean, it is poison. And and what happens too, there's been a lot of food studies though out there just saying that, it's going into the roots and then it's coming back in the plant and it's staying for years. It's not just dissipating. The people that are just saying, oh, it just washes away. It's like, yeah, well, where is it washing away to anyway? It's still getting in our waterways. And then when you think about the north and the communities in the north, well, these chemicals, even the most advanced water treatment plants, in cities can, I mean, they can't even get these. They're forever chemicals, right? But I'm not sure, which chemical it is, but it's really hard to get this chemicals out of the water. Well, these people don't have, they're drinking water from a well. They're, what kind of systems are they supposed to, they're already complaining. They've been fighting the poison now for decades, and now they're expected to try to get it out of their water.
Yeah, it's tough to. It might, I don't know what the composition of it is. However,
Yeah.
whenever you get your water tested, most places when you're on a well, the city in our city will only check, I believe, to see if there's coliform or E. coli in there.
That's right. They don't test for glyphosate.
No, there's nothing else now. Just I'm on a well, and I did bring it to another place where they tested every element of the periodic table, so I know exactly what's in my water. There is a chemical, not a chemical. There is a natural occurring element in there that I'd like to get rid of. I have yet to do that, but anyways, I know what's in there, and they show you the levels of uh, where it's the levels of toxicity to your health. But glyphosate, if it is in the water system, does chlorine kill it actually, or does it get rid of it? Because that's what municipalities may just do in order to kill any bacteria. But this isn't a bacteria. This is a chemical.
Right. Exactly. It is. Yes.
So just that being said, even if you're in the city and it just washes away, well, where's it washing away to? Of course, you could be getting it even though you're in the city. Is that even
Exactly.
possible?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's washing. I mean, our watersheds, they've been spraying it for 70 years. Our watersheds flow everywhere. They flow right through the rivers into the Great Lakes. Everybody should be concerned about this poison.
Yeah.
Everyone should be. Um, there's a strange thing that happened in Maine. In Maine, Senator Troy Jackson, he fought the aerial spraying of glyphosate for 17 years, and he got the bill passed. This was about 2022, I think. Don't quote me on that. We were all so happy the state of Maine passed the bill to end this. Well, only to have the governor, Janet Mills, veto the bill because she said, well, if we don't spray it aerially, it's going to be too dangerous to spray on the ground. So we all have to watch what we're saying because if you just fight aerial glyphosate, then they're going to come down with the ground and spray Garlon. Like, so it's never been just one chemical. It is chemical forestry itself, whether it's from the air, whether it is on the ground. It's chemical forestry. You're killing the natural regeneration of the forest. They're only planting the coniferous trees. Now they've been doing that for decades. What kind of forests have we grown? So what is happening out there now in a warming climate with wildfires that, geez, they seem to be uncontrollable right now? Well, what happens and even right on the Government of Canada's website, it tells you that a deciduous forest, especially when it's in summer, when it's green, I mean, it rarely gets a crown forest that's uncontrollable. But coniferous forests just have these fire ladders. They're very dense, they're very dry, there's no moisture, they don't have leaves. And the coniferous forests, they go right up to the top to these dangerous crown fires uncontrollable. They say it's barely impossible to fight from the ground. And these now, in a warming climate, I mean, we have created our own crisis here. If you know, well, and then now, even just this year, all the indigenous, the First Nations that have been evacuated now, these are the same people that have been formally opposing the chemical forestry since the 80s. We have our first signed resolution is dated 1989. That's our first documented one that is on stopthespreadcanada.ca. And then there's been, year after year, everybody, they've been signing resolutions, government to government resolutions, demanding them stop the spray, stop poisoning the forest. They are worried about the wildlife, their waters, their berries, their medicines, everything. And they have been systematically ignored. Like,
Maureen, that's more than a mouthful for an afternoon. What we'll have to do is get you to come back to see how your fight's been going, and if we can bring the awareness to what's going on in the forest, because everything's washing down and it's coming into our water supply, and that should be something that is everyone should be aware of that, whether you're in the city, in the bush, in a rural area, wherever. Like, we all need water to survive, and if we're poisoning ourselves at the expense of profits, is it worth it?
it's not worth it. And it's gone on for too long.
Maureen, good to talk to you, and we'll
Okay.
talk to you again in the near future.